You are listening to Single Smart Female. This is Jen, explaining the possibilities in your love life and examining your mantourage dating experiences. I am here to help you do life and love on your terms by tipping the scales of love permanently in your favor. So don't forget to text this episode to all of your single smart girlfriends, and let's get started. Hello, my single smart female. It's your romantic fairy godmama, coming to you today with a romantic fairy godmama hot topic. Now, this hot topic is the sexiest adored women assets, okay? And I really, really love this topic for many, many reasons. So I'm going to start with something that I think is important for all women, and I've talked about this before, and I will talk about it time and time again. Especially in dating and love, it's always best, and it's always sexiest, and it's always adored woman style to have a sense of humor. Now, I'm not talking about a self-deprecating sense of humor. I'm not talking about necessarily a sense of humor towards yourself where you just rip yourself apart all the time. It gets kind of old, unless you're just making fun of how amazing you are. But having a sense of humor in dating and love is not only critical, it makes life amazingly better. And for those of you that believe in a higher power, it is come to my attention in my life, and for many, 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 many years now, that God has an incredible sense of humor. So I'm going to follow suit and keep working on that, and especially learning how to not take everything personally. Because when you take everything personally, you drive yourself crazy and you make everybody around you 100% miserable. And then, and that's what life's about, is our connections. It's really important that instead of just safe spaces, that we also have safe spaces where we can, relax, let our hair down, and actually just enjoy each other without having to have a very profound worry about how sensitive everybody else is around us. So yes, I definitely want y'all to have a sense of humor, because it'll make life a lot more pleasurable for you. And ultimately, that's what I want. Okay, now number 2. This is important, and it's so important, I even have a free class for you on it. Boundaries. Boundaries are sexy, ladies, okay? This happens quite a bit. It's like a lot of women with guys that they don't like that much, they've got tremendous boundaries. Like, so high, it's impossible to get around boundaries and connect with her whatsoever. And then with guys that I don't remember if I said guys that they don't like, but as I was referring to, guys that they don't like that much. But then guys that they really like and that the chemistry is really high, they have no boundaries at all. And they just let whatever happen because they're just so afraid they're going to lose the opportunity to connect with them, and he's just going to move on. And it is not sexy. A woman with no boundaries is not sexy. Boundaries too high is not sexy. No boundaries, definitely not sexy. I'm going to reiterate this point over and over and over and over again. You need the appropriate boundaries for you, and those can be very personal. But if you want some help with that, go to datingboundaries.com. That's datingboundaries.com, and get a free class from me about dating boundaries, something you absolutely 100% need as an adored woman. It is one of the top 3 sexiest assets an adored woman can possess. Now, number 1 is sense of humor. Number 2 is boundaries. Number 3, this is a big one, ladies. This is so big. I want you to let this soak in, because at first it sounds kind of cliched and just kind of trivial, but it's not. It's the most profound, the sexiest asset you can have. And that is to unapologetically own how you feel about yourself and how you feel about others. Here's the without. There's a without. Without punishing people with your feelings and opinions. Okay? So what does that mean? That means I like myself. I like myself. I like my flaws. I like my wrinkles. I like my curves. I like my body. And I'm unapologetic about it. I'm not going to apologize to you like a lot of women do about or dismiss. Somebody tells me, oh, that dress you're wearing looks beautiful on you. Well, if it was in a smaller size, it would be better. Or, I just got this at this certain store, blah, 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 and I got it on discount. I don't do that. I don't dismiss those things. And if I do it, I really love it when women let me know that I'm doing it, because we don't need to do this as women. We don't need to apologize. for liking ourselves. And it is 100% okay and even really good to like who you are. All right. And you should. And if you don't, you need to practice. All right. I had a client tell me one time, and I adore this client, but she's like, you can't get me to like my ass. Okay, fine. Of course I can't get you to, but you should, because it's yours and it's wonderful the way it is. All right. And yes, we can tweak things, we can work on things, we can make things better, but not at the expense of hating ourselves in order to get there. Okay. So the other thing is, as I said, unapologetic about how you feel about others, especially in reference to men. So, when I communicate with men or help my clients communicate with men, sometimes they're like, won't he think that I like him? And I'm like, yeah, I want him to. But what if he rejects me? I'm going to tell you exactly what happens. As long as you're not obnoxious about it. And of course, none of the communication I do with women is obnoxious whatsoever. As long as you're not obnoxious about it and you're not forcing things, when you just stand in who you are and what you like, it's very seductive. And in fact, he may not think of you that way romantically, but afterwards, he won't be able to stop thinking about you in that way. Okay? Meaning, there may never be anything that comes of it, but you just open a door for possibility. And as long as you own it and don't apologize for it, at some point, he may very well come into your realm romantically. So it's very important for you to just be okay. If you like somebody, it's okay to convey that you like them. You don't have to go, hey, I really like you, blah, 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 blah. But, hey, calling somebody, hey, handsome is not, and okay, now, hold on. If you're thinking, well, what about in a work context? That's up to you. I'm not going to advise you there. But in just, calling somebody, hey, handsome, and being okay with that, you've just opened a door of possibility. And it doesn't mean anything bad's going to happen because of it. It's not like you're obnoxiously pursuing it. But when you own that part of you, it's really, truly sexy. It's hard to forget for men. You have that confidence that they secretly seek. And men who don't seek that, there are some that don't. These are not the men for you. I am talking specifically to women, ambitious women. So I'm teaching you how to attract men that are going to be very receptive to how amazing you are. Okay, so let's wrap all of those three things up. The sexiest assets that adored women have. Number 1, a sense of humor. You don't take everything personally. Number 2, boundaries. Go to datingboundaries.com. And number 3, being unapologetic about how you feel about yourself and others. Hey, Lover Girl. Thanks for joining me today and texting this episode to all of your single smart girlfriends. If you have a question that you'd like to submit for on-air consideration or want to learn more about working with me, then meet me over at singlesmartfemale.com. See you there.